Tim Kaine, one of the creators of Fallout, recently declared that video game developers and studios have no clue what gamers want, but then proceeded to blame gamers for providing bad feedback. Who gave them that feedback? Big Bertha or whatever you want to call her.
That statement really doesn't. I don't understand.
Okay, when I get into this, you will be that much more confused. I mean, I could go on for a long ass time bitching and complaining what this motherfucker spews out.
Okay.
Hi everyone, it's me, Tim. Today I want to talk about...
I'm going to try not to bore what audience we have too much. So I'm going to play this at a little quicker speed.
Okay.
About, do devs know what gamers want? This video is a direct follow-up to my video last week, do gamers know what they like? Before I made that video, I just mentioned I was going to do it in a comment section almost 2 months ago. And Lyre Noir said, personally, I think do devs know what gamers want is even a better question. And you know what? They're right. So both that video, so I made that video and then I made this one pretty soon afterwards. Keep in mind, these were made back in November, not even that late November, kind of mid-November. So I don't know what the comments were on that other one, and I have no idea what the comments are going to be in this one. But I think it's better that way because I want to give you the raw, unfiltered response to, do devs know what gamers want? And here it is. No. No, we don't know what you want. We have no idea, seriously, what you want. I almost did this as a short. I was just going to do a short and go, do devs know what gamers want? Nope. And then cut it off. You can stop here. If you want to know why it is we're so absolutely confused about what it is you want, keep watching. Because I know some of you are like, it's stupid. We know what you should know what we want. We don't.
Okay, I'm going to start off by saying, there's going to be a lot of playing and pausing. I'm going to start off by saying, as I go into a mechanic and they're looking at you going, what do you want? What do you want? Fix the damn things. Like, you got to be specific. I'm not the game developer. But I can tell you what I don't want. I can do that.
They're in the market to make games. How the hell can they not know what people want when people bitch about what they don't want? And they try to tell these developers what they do want, and the developers do not listen.
Here's the longer answer. And it's all kind of can be summed up as, because you don't know either. But you got to remember, I'm saying the collective you. I wish English had the collective you. Southern English does. Y'all don't know what you want. Let me dive into that. This is a deep dive on why y'all don't even know what you want, which is why we don't know what to give you. First off, many of you only tell developers what you hate. Great. You said what it is you don't want, but what is it you want? I have an entire video on how to give good feedback, and I'll link it below. But I can just say, when you keep saying, I hate this in games, I hate this feature, I hate these kind of characters and all that, great. What kind of characters do you want? If you hate sarcastic characters, well, guess what? There's an entire realm of non-sarcastic characters. But what is it you want? Do you want funny characters? Do you want serious characters? Do you want characters with a lot of background? Do you characters with very little that you don't want to spend a time in a wall of text dialogue? What do you want?
All right. This motherfucker is a complete blathering idiot. Because you want a little bit of all of it in a game, you don't want, I want all of them to be sarcastic. Like, even if, you love sarcastic stuff, you want a straight man, right?
Yeah.
He's saying we're not specific enough. It's like, if you don't have some kind of inkling on how to make a good game, get the fuck out of the business.
Ain't that the truth? I mean, it's not hard.
If you want to, like, you have to tell us how to make a good game. Just look back at other games, or maybe try something unique and original, have it play tested, and see what they say about it. You know, I mean, there's options. I mean, you look at Baldur's Gate 3, it was play tested for, I don't remember, seemed like a year or more before they actually released it. You know, it was like you pay for it to get in the testing, basically.
Well, I mean, I thought that's what you were supposed to do, to see how it resonates with the audiences.
This man don't need to be in the business. And any pandering, any coded stuff, as in black coded or feminist coded, any, I don't know, these terms are overused, but woke and DEI, obviously, that's clear. And they go, well, what is that? We don't know. Bullshit.
Yep. It's complete and utter bullshit. Well, you know,
That's why you have to tell us what you want and not what you don't want. But wait, there's more. Even when you say what you want, you're often extraordinarily vague. You will say, I want a better game, I want a better AI, I want a better UI. Yeah, I'll just slide the better slider from okay to great on all of those. I have an entire video on why developers need context to your feedback. That's never more truer than when you give feedback, when you give, especially positive feedback. If you don't say what you're talking about, it can be really vague. For example, what does better for you mean in a game? Or when you say, how is that AI bad? What are you talking about? What are they not taking cover? Are they just running straight at you shooting? What do you mean? When you say you don't like a UI, what is the friction point in that UI that you're encountering? What is it that's bothering you? If you just say that UI is dumb, it's not helping. And trust me, it's not just gamers who do this. I've worked with people who've literally said that out of their mouth. They're like, that looks dumb. Great, I'll get right on that. Sometimes though, and you know, I've talked about how some UI issues are really an underlying system mechanic issue. This comes up in the videos on encumbrance, where you can have a really good UI if your game supports encumbrance, but you take encumbrance out and suddenly that same UI is terrible because people can carry more. And suddenly there's a lot more things in their inventory. And the UI you were using for a limited inventory doesn't work for a UI with an unlimited inventory. So that's why you need to be very specific about what it is you didn't like. Do you really hate that UI? Or do you hate that you can vacuum up everything? And or do you want to be able to vacuum up everything, but you just wish the game would somehow?
He sounds very frustrated. Clearly as someone who's thought entirely too hard on it. And he's too involved and he's blinded, you know. He's blinded by it. He's gotten so far into it and he's like, I don't know what they like anymore. I don't know what they want anymore. Or where at one point he may have known what a good game was and he may have provided people such. If you want to know what a good game is, play games yourself. You have to be a gamer to know.
well, he needs to touch grass.
Yeah, that's you know what came to mind, touch grass, but in this case, touch a controller.
I mean, he
Right.
really needs to get
We have
outside.
in chat John Richards, problematic white guy. And
Hello.
he just stopped by to say Spanish words at us, apparently.
It's hola.
What was it, Hawaiian? What?
No, it's hola.
Yeah,
Hello.
Spanish is Spanish, isn't it?
Yes.
But I'm confused now. I thought he was a white guy.
White people can know Spanish.
No, that would be, what do they call it? Cultural appropriation. If you learn their language and speak it.
You're so silly. I swear.
He's a very complex character, like this man on the screen. Very complex. This motherfucker on the screen so confused. He does not know up from down anymore. Okay, I'm gonna continue with this. Which, you know, as I've stated before, a lot of people have already covered this, but I haven't, so I'm doing it any fucking way. So I'm gonna go ahead and continue.
I'll organize it better. Be specific. Here's the one that really gets me, and that many of you refuse to acknowledge. You all, again, I wish I just had a plural you all do not agree on what a good feature is. Go back and watch both of my encumbrance videos. They're linked below. Or watch the video I had on fast travel, or even the video I did on providing game difficulty, different options in there. Read the comments. on it, which I know a lot of you don't do, and you complain that YouTube doesn't do a good job of sorting them. Just pick one of those videos, set it to show all the comments, and scroll for a few minutes. You will find that some of you literally say you will not play a game that is lacking a particular feature, and then keep scrolling, and you'll find people who hate games that have that feature. And it can be anything: fast travel, VO, walls of text, story mode. Some of you require it, and some of you skip games that have it. And you have reasons for doing it. I'm not saying you're wrong. What I am saying is there's no possible way to make a game that will make all of you happy. What's interesting to me,
I'd hate to have to be in front of that motherfucker.
You'd be in prison.
Yeah. But I have to point this out here. It's his birthday.
Happy birthday.
Here in America. Here. Why again does that need to be stated? Okay, nah, but yeah, happy birthday. Don't get too fucked up and don't catch any STDs.
and this channel has made me really acknowledge it, you don't even agree on the fact that all of you are disagreeing. Some of you don't acknowledge there are any other game players out there. There was a video I did where I said people frequently want better graphics, but a lot of you ask for better graphics. And someone said, and I quote, "No one asked for better graphics." I guess you never read a review and you don't go on any forum boards, because yes, they do. And keep in mind, better graphics, sometimes they're just talking about they want higher resolution. They bought a 4K monitor and they're upset they're not getting a game in 4K. Sometimes
Whoa. I know I got this sped up, but there's a lot of gamers who's perfectly content with a what do you call it? Switch, is it?
Yeah.
The fuck, I'm so out of touch, but because I'm a PC gamer, but yeah, a little like the thing's got like the power of an average smartphone, right? And they're perfectly content with it. A good many, not everyone. Okay, and there's these people who nitpick about, oh, it's got to be 60 frames a second. Here's what I've noticed. If you tell them it's 60 frames a second and they have no way of like measuring the accurate data, they will never know. And the people claiming that they do are fooling themselves. They're full of shit. And they may not realize it. I mean, say if it drops below 30, yeah, they're going to see it, right? But if it's like 45 frames per second, they're not going to know the difference. And we have another person. Welcome, Cyfax.
Hi, Cyfax.
I have wrong fingers. What does this mean?
Ah, stop it. Stop it. But it's to my understanding that if you're watching a video and you're looking for it to be 60 frames per second or whatever.
Well, we're talking about games.
Yeah, I know. And it falls just a little bit below that, you're not going to notice when you're playing the game,
Have a good birthday. Yeah. There's another thing to be said for all that. I've played a game from like a decade ago, and I'm looking at it going, it doesn't really look worse than these new games. These video cards scaling up and these game graphics are not a big improvement. They're a touch here and there, but they're not a big improvement. One issue that causes that is everything's made in Unreal Engine now. Buggy ass Unreal Engine. And bloated ass Unreal Engine. And that stifles the whole industry, in my opinion.
Well, you're right. I mean, a game from like a decade previous can sometimes look better than what they got now.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Not to mention the editing software like Photoshop and such. In my own opinion, used to do a better job. Now everything looks blended. It's like, oh, let's give it some soft color and a swipe for a gradient blend. And it's like, knock that shit off. We want some stuff that looks like real stuff.
Yeah. Well, in my opinion,
and everything looks like a cutesy little anime now.
Yeah.
Now, that's my personal bitch and gripe. A lot of people like that. I don't. And a lot of gamers don't.
Well, In my opinion, I think GIMP is far superior than Photoshop any day.
No, that's not necessarily true. It's a matter of how you use it. But you know, these tools modernize. They think, well, everybody likes this blended cutesy crap, so they make tools especially for that.
Yeah, that is true.
Not only that, the more things get cutesified, the more video games will be looked at as for childlike people, or dare say retarded people. You know, it's like, oh, if you're into that, oh, because it's just a bunch of anime looking stuff, right? You know, there's gonna be a lot of people who's gonna look at it like that.
Yeah, that's true.
On the other hand, if you have a in-depth story with realistic graphics, they're gonna be like, hey, I wasn't in the games, but this is some shit. I can kind of get into this. And then they're gonna go, this really is a serious industry.
Well, I don't know. I guess I'm picky when it comes to games because for me, I have to it has to pull me in. And if it doesn't do that within the first 10 or 20 minutes, I'm going to never play it again.
I'm the same way. You know, it's gotta, you know, the ambience of it is important for one. If it starts out with high pitch music, sounds like it comes off a cartoon with a lot of flashiness, I'm like, fuck this.
Yeah. I mean, that's like when Guild Wars 2 first came out. Oh my, I was enthralled with that game. I played that game like
Okay,
every hours.
let me get through some more of this video before we go on too much.
Okay.
Say want a farther view distance, they're upset that it clips really early, or that there's always things blocking their view. They don't get a nice wide view of anything. Sometimes they just need more creature variety or more location variety. These are all better graphics. These are all things that require a lot more hard time, a lot more things to be loaded in, a lot better optimization of your engine. These are all going into the category of better graphics. And all of you, I guarantee, have asked for some form of better graphics at some point when you're responding to a question of what did you like and dislike about this game. Now keep in mind too, sometimes you guys talk about art style, but everything I just mentioned, even if the art style stays the same, you will need more polys and more textures and more everything just to give you more creature variety or more location variety. So just that means, if ultimately you just better graphics, that means more work, more artists, more time, more money. And many of you say, well, I don't really care about graphics. I'm one of you. Graphics have never been high on my list of what I care about in a game, but many, many, many players are attracted to a game by its pretty graphics, even if they stay afterwards because the gameplay is so good. Pretty graphics.
I think he's probably getting the word graphics confused. It doesn't necessarily mean next generation, more expensive video cards, you know, or in the console case, next gen, whatever, right? It can often mean the stylization of the graphics. In which way are they animated, or, you know, maybe voice acted and so on. I mean, when people say graphics, there's all types of meanings that come from it.
That is true. I mean, like Final Fantasy, not the newer ones, but the older ones, like Final Fantasy VII. That was a good game, and the graphics were.
It was blocky as hell, but you got into it and it was in depth. But
Yeah.
he's complaining that we don't know what you like, so we don't know what to make, and you won't tell us what you like. That's stupid. Different people like different things. Make it good. And he's like, how? But how? But how? You need to get the fuck out of the business if you don't know how. You know, have it play tested. Look at previous hits. You know, there's ways. You don't need to be in the industry if you can't figure that one out.
Well, I think he's having such a problem with it, and people are telling him what to do. Take the middle ground of all of it and make a good fucking game.
But I think we can all admit the number one thing that's killing the industry now is the forced DEI.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people will go, what if it wasn't forced and if it was subtle DEI, I would be okay with. I wouldn't.
I wouldn't either.
If you want to have a woman hero in a game, or hero or villain or whatever, okay, I don't care. You know, if they're lead or whatever, I don't care. If you want to have a black person, I don't care. But I don't need to see them in a sex scene or their whole gender backstory, or, you know, I mean, But I guess when I hear DEI, it just brings me to the whole LGBTQ and the whole feminism thing. And it's like, just no.
Yeah, people want to play games to get away from all that crap.
We have a definitive answer here on this. This dragon wants big titty women, men rescuing damsels in distress. Hell, make a fucking dragon game. Last game I played as a dragon was Eco Draconis. Give me that.
I have to agree.
Yeah.
I have to agree, you know.
I know very well Levistro is a gamer. He games a lot. And that's who we want to hear from. The gamers.
Well, for me, I want high fantasy. I want swords. I want magic. I want dragons. I want the whole 9 yards. And diving down into the pits of hell to fight these demon lords and shit. You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to go the other route with it, I really enjoyed Cyberpunk. Was it 2077 or whatever it is, but Cyberpunk, right? I love the hell out of that game. So far, I haven't gotten that far in it, but I love the game. And I know it started out as a buggy mess, but they fixed it eventually. That was a good, futuristic cyber-based game, and whichever genre you go into, just take your time to make it good. And this man's like, good? What do you mean good? You have to tell us exactly what to do, and then other people won't be happy. Shut the fuck up.
But
okay. Having said shut the fuck up, I'm gonna talk some more.
Okay.
Open the door. I've told some designers on me, sometimes it's like dating. Your head may be turned by the prettiness, but you stay because of the personality and the chemistry. So it's like that with games. Make a pretty game. More people will at least get their eyeballs on your game. Then they're stay because of the mechanics. And then later on, they'll deny ever even looking at your game because it's pretty. One of the things I want to point out is many of you argue against things that would make a game that even tries to provide more things for more players. And I've talked about how design by committee is bad, which I agree with. And usually that leads to making a game that's so bland and vanilla that no one can really have an argument against it, but nobody really feels like playing it. What I mean by that is many of you literally have argued that games should have fewer game options. I'm not even talking about game difficulty, just fewer game options. I have a video on game options. I'll link it below. Again, read those comments. Many of you are going, yeah, I hate when games have a lot of options. I don't know what to set. The designer should have decided that. Why are they making me do that? That just means they didn't have a strong vision. Not ignoring the fact that many of those options are there to let more people play the game. I'm colorblind. That's a disability. There are games I literally cannot play because they have puzzles or information that I'm supposed to pick up on that's color-based, but there are no color blindness options. The worst ones of these are ones that don't say up front that they do that. And then later I'm playing the game and I realize I'm playing it wrong, or I've encountered puzzles that I literally cannot solve and there's no option to do so. Super frustrating. So let me sum up, because I've been ranting for a while. I get that you, the individual, want what you, the individual, want. But you have to realize that you, the individual, are not very good at giving developers feedback, and that you, the individual, are not everybody the game's being made for. Many of you aren't even in the majority, and I hear you. I don't think I'm in the majority. I like a lot of...
So he's talking about game options as in, like, go into the settings and check this and this. I take it?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, we have the gamer here with another great saying. Levistro, I want the 1980s sword and sorcery like Conan the Barbarian, but not in a desert. But everything in that grit, woman, all that in high fantasy. I'll pay $100 or $79 for DLCs if it's well made. And yeah, I've always loved Conan. Yeah, sword and sorcery of that type. With that said, I always like the high magic of old D&D, but with the feel of Conan. I like the, say that mixture. And yeah, I mean, if they made one of those, say, open world, you could slash anything, cast a spell on anything, kind of like Baldur's Gate, but make it real-time action. And then you could, you weren't on rails. It was a full open world. I would buy that. And it wasn't done like an anime, but semi-realistic or fairly realistic. That, speaking for myself, yeah, I would buy that.
I would want to play it, but I would be a fire mage so I could blow shit up.
I'll give you a setting tip. Don't add an option to give you my data. Why should I have to turn that off? You never needed my data or had to violate my right to privacy before looking at you, EA. Yeah, I mean, that should it should be off by default. You can always like, I don't know why someone would want to turn this on, but you know, off by default, have a setting and turn it on if they really want to put it in there. You
Yeah,
know, it's
that
like,
doesn't make any sense.
what data are they gathering exactly? Damn, that man's having a stroke or something.
If he's gonna have a heart attack, he needs to settle down. He needs
Okay.
to drink some NyQuil or something.
At the rate I'm playing this at, I only got a little bit to get through, so let's get through this.
Niche games. I've made a lot of niche games. And so that's kind of what I'm saying here is game development is hard on its own, technically. But this lack of consensus among game players about what they want takes that difficulty to a whole new level. It's that much harder to make a game that you want to be popular, that you want to have a lot of sales, because most of you don't know what you want. Those of you that do know what you want are very vague at expressing it. And many of you don't realize that what you want isn't what a lot of other people want. This is why, for most of my career, I just made what I wanted, what I liked. I hoped other people would like it, but it was me and the team just trying to make something we like, that would make each other laugh, make each other have fun. And we were like, gee, I hope people like this. We weren't sure. We didn't care. And when marketing would ask us questions like, what's the demographic for your game? We didn't know. We didn't have an answer. And most of us, we didn't even care. We're like, I don't know. Why don't you go home and play the game and tell me what you think, who would like it? Many of you like my earlier games.
Okay, so he's going, basically, developers make what they like. Well, we have two issues here. These young people straight out of college generally aren't big gamers. And two, they are brainwashed. So I think the real answer is, you know, I mean, of course, have gamers make the games they want. But the big issue here is getting people fresh out of college with, you know, brainwashed with ideologies is the number one issue. Now, even with that being said, his long rant here about we can't give you what you want because you don't know what you want and you have to give us detailed feedback. It's bullshit. It's bullshit simply on the fact that different people want different things, and we are not the developers. You are, motherfucker.